Welcome back, everyone, to Ferris Sports Update. Time to talk Bulldog hockey, and with us, assistant coach Mark Kaufman. And Coach, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rob.
Bulldogs had a holiday break here, a week off, but I know a lot of work and preparation went in. A big series coming up this weekend against the University of Michigan.
Yeah, that's right. We had a well-deserved week off this past week, so kind of heal up with some of our injuries and regroup a bit. And we hit the ice this morning, so ready to get after a big weekend against the Wolverines.
Always big when Michigan comes to town. What was some of the focus in that week off? I know you had a few days of practice before the holiday break. What was some of the focus?
Well, it was just kind of maintain our conditioning and keep our legs moving. But you know, we needed a break. You know, it's just we've been going at it since the middle of September here. So the guys came in, they had a really good skate this morning, so we were really pleasantly surprised with that. So hopefully we can build upon that and get ready for Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, started to establish a little bit of momentum here prior to the break. Winners of 3 straight games, a big sweep over Bowling Green State. Any concern there that might wear off a little bit, some of that momentum that you were able to establish with the week off?
I don't think so. I mean, the kids are in really great spirits after we swept Bowling Green, and I think it's gonna have a positive carryover effect. And again, the rest is gonna be a little icing on the cake in that regard. But we've played well the last 3 games, especially the last one Saturday against Bowling Green, and again, we're excited to get going against Michigan back in conference play here. Still
early in the season, but your team right now 1 point out of first place in the CCHA standings. How pleased are you as a staff with that, with some of the injuries you've had and some of the younger kids that you've had in the lineup?
Well, we're ecstatic right now. I mean, we're you want to be better, you want to be in first, and that's something we accomplished last year. But it's a whole different team, whole different dynamic this year, and especially with a lot of the younger players and a lot of our experienced players being hurt early and often and for a long term. We feel quite fortunate to be in the spot that we're at. So those guys are finding their way back into the lineup, and it just seems that we're getting better and better week by week. And again, we weathered the storm. We still have a few more games here to go, but I think when we're at full tilt here after the Christmas break, we should be in really good shape.
What are some of the biggest improvements maybe you've made as a team with some of those younger guys in the lineup here since the start of the season?
Well, I guess from a team aspect, our power play has been very, very good this year. And in conference, we're the first or close or second, and even nationally, we're ranked very high with our power play percentage and our ability to put pucks in the net. And our goaltending has been key as well. So we'd like to be a little bit better 5-on-5 and make some things happen in that regard. But specialty teams and goaltending, that can carry a long way, and it's carried us to this point so far. And we've got plenty of time to kind of fix the boat in other ways right now. But we're okay. We're gonna continue to make some good strides here.
You mentioned goaltending. Just talk about the play, C.J. Mott in that with some of those younger kids he's had in front of him on the defensive side.
Yeah, he's done a great job, even just from the get-go. And it takes some of the pressure off our defensemen. Sometimes we're skating 4 or 5 freshmen back there on the blue line, and that's a pretty tough task. But he's been solid, and to a certain degree, they've kind of they've been able to complement his efforts as well, because they've been able to settle down a bit and not panic too much. And they've done a good job. It seems to be a real good fit right now. And again, as long as we're scoring goals, that's going to give you enough offense to win games. And defense it's a year-long process. So getting to where we need to be. So far, so good.
As you look at the offensive side, we'll have Kyle Bonus coming on here later in the show. But offensively, he's maybe the leader, but a number of contributions from a number of different individuals throughout the season.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a real solid, first line, so to speak, and with Kyle, Travis Ouellette, and we've been flipping off with Justin DiMartino and Garrett over there on the off wing. So, and our second line is starting to have some secondary scoring as well, and that's really, really good. And again, when your seniors are carrying the load and putting pucks in the net, it's good for great on ice leadership, and it has a way to make itself a positive effect throughout the lineup.
This week, Michigan comes to town, maybe not quite the same record that you've seen in the past at various times from the Wolverines, but still, I know, an outstanding opponent. And what do you expect out of Michigan this weekend?
Well, they're a high-tempo team. I mean, they really like to put the foot to the gas pedal, so to speak. Their ability to play fast, change directions, their change of speed, and their ability to counterattack is second to none. Now, that being said, they've got a young defensive corps too, and a young goaltender, so they're going to have their trials and tribulations like everyone else. But they're trying to find their game. They've got great tempo, and again, they're always a high-flying team. They're struggling a little bit right now, but once they find their tempo, they'll be where they want to be. So it'll be a good test, a good challenge for us, that's for sure.
You faced them twice last year, early in the year, a couple losses in Ann Arbor, but it was early in the season. This year, is it nice to have them at home for the first time here in Big Rapids this season?
Absolutely, and especially, they just played this past weekend in New York City at Madison Square Garden versus Cornell, and that's going to be a little bit different atmosphere than coming to Big Rapids. So hopefully we can kind of catch them off guard a little bit and go from there.
Final time Michigan will make the trip to Big Rapids, at least as a CCHA member. How big is that for the fans, and what do you expect from the fans coming into this series?
Well, we checked the box office today, and it's almost sold out. So I mean, our fans have been great. I mean, they've supported the team through thick or thin, especially last year with their support, and even moving forward into this year. I mean, the fan support has just been outstanding. From the general community all the way to the students. So again, we got some of the best fans in college hockey, and they prove themselves week in, week out. That's for sure.
The only home series here in the month of December, and actually the only home series over basically a 2-month stretch from the beginning of November to early January. How important are these two games this weekend for the Bulldogs playing at home?
Well, again, good teams win their games at home, and that's been our motto the last few years, and we've done a pretty good job of that. So we've got to be able to secure enough points to come out of this weekend and stay in the thick of the the CCHA race. And we do go on the road for a while after that, but that's just the nature of sports right now. But we were top heavy with the home schedule early on, and we did a pretty good job with it. So the second half here we'll be in good shape because we've proven that we can play on the road.
Speaking of the road, some big games coming up here on the road at Western Michigan. You've got Michigan State, a tough tournament down in Florida over the holidays. Just talk about that upcoming schedule and what's ahead for the Bulldogs.
Well, at Western's going to be tough because they've really turned things around down there, and we were the the regular season champs last year. They were the playoff champs, so it's going to be a good collision down there in a couple of weeks in Kalamazoo. Then we got Michigan State a couple of times in between our Florida tourney. So again, just a good test for us. And obviously we go back to Florida, and we'll be playing Cornell and Maine or University of Minnesota Duluth. So in the Florida tournament. So those are all quality programs on the national level. So again, a great way to get tested, a great way to get better.
Well, Coach, the Bulldogs this week again hosting the University of Michigan and expecting a large crowd, and best of luck to the Bulldogs this weekend.
Thank you, Rob.
We'll be back with more Ferris Sports Update, more Bulldog hockey right after this.